This morning, Tyler Ryan with his own still horse is in Studio 57 with the organizers. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning, friendy. Do you ride, by the way?
No.
You should, man. There's nothing like having a steel horse, as Bon Jovi would say. Steel horse I ride. Well, that's right. On Saturday, there's going to be a great ride, a ride so they can walk ride for the Lou Gehrig's disease. And so we got some bikers out here going to be riding on Saturday, and I just want to say hi to these guys real quick. What's your name?
Jeff Murrah.
Jeff.
T.C. Watson.
All right, T.C.
Robert Spigner.
Robert. Let's go this way real quick.
Anne-Marie Elwood.
Anne-Marie.
Colin Griffin.
Colin Griffin. And, of course, Miss Cleo Chamberlain here. And, Kase, you actually are the motivator and the driver behind the Ride So They Can Walk ride we're doing on Saturday. And that's because your mom was struck.
Exactly. Exactly.
Tell me the story. In 2007, she was diagnosed, and in 2 years, and she was gone.
Yeah, we noticed in May of 2007 that her speech started slurring. And in October of 2007, that she was finally diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, which, as most people know, is fatal. And we had to move her from Greenwood down to Columbia because I needed to be closer to her to take care of her.
Right.
Her started in her head, so she lost her speech and ability to swallow, so she had a feeding tube. And then in November of 2008, she got a chest cold, and because the muscles had started to not work, she wasn't able to cough it up, so she had to get a trach. At that point, I moved her into my home, quit my job, and took care of her until July of '09 when she passed away.
And the disease, a lot of things, and we're friends with Larry Redmond, who also is suffering from A.L.S. And the thing about it is it affects your spinal system and your central nervous system, so you lose control, exactly. But you don't lose your mind.
You never lose your mind. You know, it doesn't affect your heart. What happens is it finally affects your diaphragm, which obviously for breathing, and that's how the A.L.S. patients pass.
Right. And, I mean, it's got to be a prison inside because you can't, to be fully alert and know, hey, I want to move my arm, I want to walk, I want to say this to my daughter, and you can't.
Right. You know, you're trapped in a body that doesn't work anymore. And it is miserable to watch, and it truly is a family disease.
Well, we're going to talk in a couple of minutes about the ride that's happening on Saturday. But, of course, that's your motivator behind organizing this ride on Saturday. Absolutely. Is the ride so that they can walk. Bring
awareness. We need to bring awareness to Lou Gehrig's disease and A.L.S. A.L.S. of South Carolina is such a great support system. And the references and, you know, if anybody needs them, they're there, can tell you where to go, what to do. So.
Stuff. Ms.
All
Kase.
of our proceeds are going to go to A.L.S. of South Carolina.
Perfect. Now we're going to talk about the ride itself here coming up in about 15 minutes and take a look at some of these awesome bikes. And I tell you, when you own a bike, you're pretty darn proud of it. Jared, see, get some of these bikes here. These are really, really nice. And we're going to talk about the ride here in just a few minutes, guys. We're in Studio 57, and we are celebrating. We're celebrating raising money, research, and eventually a cure for ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much for that. Lots of great information there, and we can't wait to hear more about the ride coming up in the next hour.